from the soul with it. Yeah. I will say, if you have a problem with this video, just come back once LeBron retires and see if you still have the same problem. You know, with that being said, let's get right to it. Why the NBA will suffer when LeBron James retires. Once LeBron retires, which will most likely be in another 3 or 4 years, or God forbid early if, you know, he endured a gruesome injury, we can imagine once LeBron retires, then eventually after that, shortly, Kevin Durant will be on his way out the door. You know, that's if Kevin Durant, if injuries don't affect him, because typically players his height, they start to suffer injuries. That's if he leaves Golden State, because playing in Golden State with all those stars can prolong his career. But then comes Steph Curry, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. I believe, in my opinion, that these crop of players will be the last mega superstar level players to ever play this game. And the reason I say that is I believe there will always be all-stars, but in terms of mega superstars, caliber players, I think they will die out. And here's my theory why. You know, substance, passion, dedication, consistency, obsession, effort. Boxing is a sport, of course. Hip-hop is similar to a sport because there's competition, but which isn't now. It's no competition in hip-hop right now. But when you look at both, they kind of died out due to the lack of those words that I just mentioned. You know, when you look at hip-hop, R&B, or just music period, it has become so commercialized. Even boxing, like everything is starting to become so commercialized, and there's really no competition. You hear former players talk about that now, how the game, everybody is just so buddy-buddy. And there are a lot of artists in hip-hop are like that. You know, they're so buddy-buddy. They're not in love with the music. They don't take it serious. They just in it for the fame, the money, the jewelry, the cars, the clothes. You know, it really has no substance, and it don't have no passion. The days of Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Rakim, Jay-Z, all those days, their days are gone. But a lot of artists that you may like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, I'm not saying that, you know, these artists aren't great, but when it comes to ranking them amongst the Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac, Biggie, you know, even female rappers like Lauryn Hill, it's like their body of work and the timing, I don't think it's going to be able to come close. You know, those artists already made their mark, and to me, just my honest opinion, I felt like those artists don't give you the same feeling, resonate with them like a Nas or a Tupac. The emotion has changed. Just like hip-hop and boxing and other sports, it's become more about politics. It's like a popularity contest now. And what these rappers have done is just, it's like not any different. So like, example, you got Michael Jordan was so special because people never seen a player fly and be, you know, fly in the air, be that dominant, and just overall dominate, you know, the marketing like he did. So the game needed something different. And I believe, you know, as much as a Kobe Bryant fan that I am, you know, he did get a lot of his game from MJ. So it wasn't nothing different, but Kobe Bryant, that Mamba mentality and taking those difficult shots was just amazing. And I'm always, you know, I believe that him and Michael Jordan are the greatest players to ever breathe, in my opinion. But Steph Curry, he came with something different in the game. He revolutionized the game because in terms of the NBA, we never seen nobody shoot from all over the court like that and make it look effortless. So when new players try to beat Steph Curry, it's like we won't be as amazed because we seen Steph Curry do it before. And in boxing, Floyd Mayweather was the last megastar who was undefeated, signed the biggest deal in boxing. He signed a $260 million deal, which people don't understand. This was the biggest deal in sports history for any athlete. So before LeBron, he was the guy who actually was the one who asked for bigger deals. Like nobody was asking for bigger deals like that before Floyd Mayweather. So he kind of, you know, opened the door for a lot of athletes, and he was his own boss. So Money Mayweather, when these fighters were young, they idolized people. That's just what happened. Just like this young generation is idolizing LeBron. And they emulated Money May. They didn't see Pretty Boy Floyd, who was passionate, dedicated, and competed against the best opposition. So these new fighters that's coming along, they're solely in it for what Money Mayweather was in it for. They didn't watch, you know, Pretty Boy Floyd. So what happened is a lot of these young fighters, they're asking for the type of money even though their talent don't warrant them. Just like in the NBA, you see a lot of average basketball players now who are getting superstar money in a way. And now every fighter coming along, they're scared, they don't want to lose fights. They want to take the Money Mayweather route, but they don't want to put in the work that Money Mayweather did. They in it for the cars, the jewelry, the women, etc. It's all commercialized now. And now that Floyd, and then what happened, Floyd retired, and now boxing is not really that interesting no more, and neither is hip-hop. And I believe this will happen when LeBron James retires as well. LeBron is the most popular athlete in the world in basketball, at this current moment. And a lot of new players coming into the league, they will want what LeBron James has without putting in the work that LeBron put in. Kevin Durant stated that, LeBron helped his decision to join the Golden State Warriors because of the backlash that LeBron got for going to Miami. And I believe other players will want to play with their friends and they'll be more buddy-buddy. You know, what you can expect now, you can expect that it's going to get worse. It's not going to do nothing but get worse, because what happens is the generation that comes after that feels entitled, and it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse. You have players like Ben Simmons and others who, you know, haven't perfected their jump shot, and a lot of them they just seem content. You know, most likely a lot of them are average players and they will not care about getting to the level of a LeBron or KD. They will be content as just average players making, you know, getting 16, 18 points per game, go to parties, play video games, Fortnite, smoke or drink, or, you know, whatever may have you. When we look at basketball, the game is being officiated horribly, and anybody can contest to that. You know, James Harden does get some of the worst calls ever, but LeBron James does as well too, and he flopped. And there'll just be a lot of players who emulate that as well. You got LeBron James, they get so upset at James Harden, but you got to understand that James Harden, he looked up to players like LeBron James. LeBron James was a leader. You have to remember when LeBron James was playing with the Miami Heat, and James Harden, he watched that, he studied that, and he seen how LeBron James could get calls and sell a call, and he'd just be flopping and falling all over the place. Same thing with Dwayne Wade, and it started to become very popular down there. So you have to understand, when millions of people watch this, or when players watch this, they emulate that. So he took a page out of LeBron James' book, and with them doing all that flopping and then complaining and getting those calls, the no hand check rule has allowed the game to just be far less physical, which benefits the offensive player. Then ironically, when LeBron goes out west, where the game has always been extremely physical, what major emphasis has been on offensive contact, particularly on players cutting across the lane. And you can assume that this is just the beginning. Eventually there'll be no new rule changes for defense, and you could assume that it's just going to get even worse as time passes. You add that with the fact that players don't contest shots, you know, when they drive in the lane for dunks. I think with LeBron complaining about foul calls and being overly dramatic and flopping and acting, I think young players will also eventually emulate that, and, you know, they will expect LeBron type treatment without being LeBron. You know, people emulate their idols just like Kobe emulated Michael Jordan, and that's what happened. A lot of people emulate their favorite entertainers, whoever it is, because of their popularity. But Kobe had the passion, the love, and the dedication, which means he was focused solely on basketball, and the people who got paid to do the marketing, who were the experts in their field, were allowed to do their job. Though LeBron may not be overly obsessed with basketball as the Jordan or Kobe, he's very business minded, so I mean, he's more hands-on. But long term, I think that will affect the game in a bad way, because a lot of players will feel like they have to be hands-on and they'll have control like that, when you can just leave it to the people to handle their business. The game is going to become very commercialized. I mean, at least LeBron is a great player though, and he put in a lot of work to be great. But the dunk contest used to be exciting and fun to watch, but when LeBron didn't compete in the dunk contest, it used to be exciting and fun to watch, but when LeBron didn't compete in the dunk contest, I believe a lot of players who look up to LeBron would not want to compete in a dunk contest. Like Zion Williamson might not want to do it, Ben Simmons might not want to do it, and I don't think a lot of players will put in the work that Steph Curry put in. So I believe that the three-point contest will eventually not be exciting or interesting, and the All-Star break is just going to be boring, because it's just like nobody that's great going to want to compete. It's not going to be that much of great players. You know, it's natural that people follow the leader. That's just how it is. LeBron is the leader right now. You know, with how sensitive this generation has become when it comes to criticizing players, I think fans will be hesitant in criticizing these players in the future, because the media will heavily protect a lot of these guys, because they're going to be assets, you know, marketing assets. They have to protect their asset. That's their assets. That's why LeBron James gets a lot of positive coverage. You know, I think ratings will drop drastically, like box and pay-per-view numbers, album sales, and I just think the NBA will be oversaturated with a bunch of average players that's being promoted as if they're greater than what they are.